Day 7. So get yourself settled so that you can be comfortable. Get a blanket or something so you're warm enough. Signal your nervous system that it's safe to relax. Practice from different angles. We've looked at our thoughts and memories, and we're getting to explore or inquire into the experience that we have with ourselves. Who do we experience ourselves as? And how does that change over time? And we're doing it all from and core deficiency beliefs and moment stable ground. One of the things that always happens when we start looking into energy in the body or traumatic things that have happened or any time in our lives when we felt powerless or hurt or afraid, there's kind of a pull to go back in time, and we forget that right now in this time we're actually safe. We're actually a lot more resourced and more stable than we were when we were a child. We had a child's brain development. We didn't have a way to make a living or to protect ourselves the way we do now. And one of the things that happens with being kind of dragged back into the past is that we bring that and those beliefs that we formed at the time into this part of our life. So, part of what we've been doing is looking back from this moment. And part of it is we've been kind of playing with time a little bit and looking to see, based on what we know our healing has been to date and what we know now compared to what we knew when we were younger, whether that was as a child or 2 weeks ago or 2 years ago. What are the possibilities in the future? A few years from now, 10 years from now? So, what I'd like to focus on today is our experience of who we are. So, right now, what are you noticing? We notice we have a body. We can hear sounds. We can see things if we open our eyes and look around. Our brain interprets what we're seeing. So I'm seeing a blizzard right now. So my brain's saying, you could freeze to death out there. Don't go outside. So a lot of it is just very prosaic, very everyday kinds of things that go on in our mind. But we also might hear a tone of voice that reminds us of a time when we were scolded or shamed. And that could trigger that feeling again. So even though in this moment in time we can check and we can really see, in fact, my body is safe right now. Very little likelihood anything's going to happen to my body right now. That there's still everything that goes on in the mind, and there's our stored sense of ourselves. So we're going to look a little bit into that today. Right now, as you're sitting here, notice how your body is located. And part of the way we do that is through sense perceptions. And we also have an inner knowing. We just kind of know our arm is in this position. We know the difference between sitting up and lying down. We don't have to open our eyes and look at our body. So we have a sense of our body and where it is in space. And we have a lot of thoughts generally. And the thoughts that are in the mind are often keeping us very, very busy and kind of distracted. And especially if it's unhealed trauma or we have catastrophic thinking that has really gotten a hold in our mind. That's predominantly what we're paying attention to then. So, in a practice like this, one of the first things we do is notice our body and let our body soften and relax. We also notice that our feet are on the ground or a seat, or maybe if you're lying back supported, the whole back of your body is supported and you could relax and let that settle. We notice the rhythm of our breath. Another way we signal safety is by having a deeper, more continuous diaphragmatic breath. When we take an in breath, we follow it with a softening of the belly, a more complete out breath. And then bring your attention into your heart center. And we can still be aware of the whole of our body, our fingers and toes, the back of our body, the forehead, the jaw, the neck and shoulders, all the way down through to the feet. But situate your attention for now in your heart center and notice your experience there. There might be sensation or energy there. It might be kind of blank, and you would have to bring your attention to the physical location. So, the heart center I know is in the center of the rib cage, it's above the diaphragm. It's kind of in the middle area of the ribs. It's not the left side where our physical heart is, it's more in the center. And sometimes we'll work with a warm golden glow of light. So, if that works for you, you could bring that up or allow that to be here. It's not necessary either. Just resting our attention in the heart center for a moment. And we're resting with a sense of our being. So, if someone was to ask you the question, or if you were to sit with the question, who am I? What most likely happens is we start to think about it. We might have some memories of different things that spiritual teachers have taught. We might have done a lot of who am I practices, inquiry in the past. Well, I know that what they say is, I'm not my body, I'm not my thoughts, but I can feel my body. Clearly, I have one. And my thoughts are mine. They're not in somebody else's head, they're in this brain. So that's true as well. So let your attention come into your heart center. What is your deepest knowing in your heart center? And if the question is helpful, you could let it sit there and resonate. Who am I? And if it's not, let the question go completely. Just sit with that sense of your awareness in your heart center. What do I know? What does the heart know? And notice the space. There's the physical ribs and muscles and heart and lungs that are in that location. If you were to put your hand on your heart, you could feel the warmth of your hand on your chest. And there's more here in that space than just the physical, the sensations, the material body. Notice as you're attuning to your heart center if there's a sense of aliveness, a sense of being. Let your thoughts about it move to the background. Just notice. Let the mind get quiet. We're not looking to the mind for answers. And from here, notice if there are boundaries in this space of your heart center. Does your heart center kind of end when your ribs start or when the edge of your body is there? Or is your heart center kind of located in the chest, but it's without boundaries? Notice your experience with that. And notice if there's a sense of age in your heart center. Are you the age that your physical body is? And again, not to try to figure it out. So if thoughts come in, we can let them be there, but not really to focus so much on thoughts. Unless it seems to be a thought that's just arising from the heart center. Keep your attention out of your head into your heart and listen. We're just sitting here listening. And if you were to bring in a memory of yourself as a child, when we do that, sometimes we'll have an image of a school picture or some other memory that might come up from that time. And keep your attention focused in your heart center. And notice, is that you, that image or memory? And how does time play into this? Are you that age right now? What's your felt sense of that? You might even try out some descriptions. If we were to describe ourselves right now, we might say, I'm finding my authentic voice more these days, or I experience less fear, or I'm a musician, or I like to walk in the forest, or whatever it might be. And if we were to describe ourselves when we were younger, we might describe our experiences of that time. I like to ride my bike in the sunshine, or I don't like that teacher I have at school, or whatever it might be. So notice if you can let all of those rememberings of who we were experiencing ourselves to be present, and to stay connected in your heart center. We're just sensing, is there a space in the heart center that we could stay even as these memories are coming and going, or these descriptions? What does your heart know? What is the deepest truth that you know about who you are? And it's not a black and white answer, there's no right or wrong answers. We're just sitting with it. What do I know in my heart? And attune to your sense of being. A lot of our memories and experiences are of things we've done or have been done to us, or experiences we've had. Even as these experiences happen, and in this moment, as we think about those experiences or we remember them, stay connected in your heart center. And then if you bring yourself forward in time, that's done kind of in our imagination, thinking ahead a few years or a decade from now. We know based on our healing trajectory so far that our mind will very likely be more settled. We'll have less catastrophic thoughts. We will be more on our own side. The inner critic will be silent, and if it comes up, we won't believe it. It's not going to cause a lot of chaos. The fear in our body has lessened to the point where our nervous system is pretty stable. Our body's relaxed. Our breath is smooth and deep. We're not triggered into fight, flight, freeze all the time. We have accurate perception of what's going on. We're present in our lives. And so we could think about the future as being more on this healing path. What will it be like in a few years from now, or at some point in the future, when you are really settled in this knowing? where you have that stability and groundedness to stay present. And there might be images come up or thoughts about that, and that's fine. Mostly we're staying present with that as a question in our heart center. Notice the space, notice the sense of aliveness, your own being. What does your heart know? And are you going to be fundamentally different in the future than you are now? Or is this sense of your own being the same? And as you sit with that, with your attention in the heart center, notice your breath, notice your body, let yourself be relaxed. If words or distractions come in, just recenter your attention. Another minute or so, we're going to focus on the heart center and our sense of being and the continuity of that through our life from a very young child, with all the memories as we started to collect them, what's happened in our nervous system throughout our life, what will happen in the future, or what we imagine that to be. And then letting all of that be here too. Really drop it into your heart center. Experience your sense of aliveness in your being, in your heart. And notice that there are no limitations or boundaries in your heart center. It's open space. We're resting in that open space. You can continue this for a while if you like. You could open your eyes if you need to get back to daily life.